Hello and welcome again to the Bench Report. You're listening to Amy and Ivan. Today, we're exploring the really important part businesses play in our rural areas.
And the unique challenges they face, looking at some insights from a recent parliamentary discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Because these businesses, they're not just numbers on a spreadsheet, are they? They feel like the real heartbeat of these communities.
Contributing hundreds of billions to the economy every year, it's quite something.
It really is. When you look into it, something like a quarter of all UK businesses are actually based in rural areas.
Generating, what, about 240 billion annually? That's a huge figure.
An enormous economic engine. But despite that contribution, they face some very specific hurdles.
Definitely.
Take connectivity, for instance. That comes up again and again.
Both digital and, well, physical connectivity.
Exactly. Poor mobile signal, unreliable broadband. It makes it incredibly difficult for these businesses to, compete properly today.
Right, in this digital economy.
Think about trying to run a digital platform like Daniel Lennox's Stagely in Sidbury. Great idea. But if you can't reliably process a card payment or even just run your home-based setup because the internet keeps dropping,
It's a fundamental problem.
it really is. And it's not just digital, is it? The physical connections matter just as much.
Or the lack of them.
Yeah, inadequate public transport.
Yeah.
That has knock-on effects.
Yeah.
It makes it hard for, say, young people to get to apprenticeships in the next town over.
Or for businesses to even attract staff if people can't easily commute.
Exactly. And then layered on top of that, you have the financial pressures.
Which seem to be hitting particularly hard right now.
We're talking rising costs for basically everything: supplies, energy bills hitting places like Larry's Pizzeria in Houghton really hard.
And these aren't just temporary spikes, are they? There are systemic things, too.
Well, quite. People talk about the business rate system needing reform, calling it broken sometimes.
And things like the increases in employers' national insurance contributions.
Yeah, we heard about businesses like Jacqueline's actually having to let staff go because of those costs.
Or big rural employers like Whittlebury Hall facing, well, nearly £1 million NI bill almost overnight. That's huge.
It's staggering. And looking forward, there's this anxiety around proposals like the potential family farm tax.
Causing real worry about future investment, maybe even forcing sales of land that's been farmed for generations.
So these aren't just small inconveniences.
No, not at all. They're serious foundational obstacles. And you see it in the figures. The rural economy is apparently about 14% less productive than the national average.
14%.
Wow.
Now, if you could close that gap, let's imagine, that could potentially add something like $40 billion to England's economy alone.
That really puts it into perspective. It's not just about the numbers, though, is it? It feels like, well, a long-term undervaluing of what these areas can do.
Exactly. And beyond the economics, think about the social impact. When businesses are struggling like this, operating with, one hand tied behind their back,
It affects the whole community. Absolutely. When a village pub closes, like the Pink and Lily mentioned, or when a bank branch disappears.
leaving maybe a banking hub that looks like a post office, but doesn't actually do posts.
Right, confusing things like that. It's more than just losing a service. It chips away at the social fabric, leaves people feeling, well, a bit isolated.
But it's not all challenges, is it? The discussion also highlighted some amazing local innovation,
Oh, definitely. Real talent and ingenuity out there.
like Amitzi from Munnisley. She's employing young people to turn empty second homes into affordable rental properties.
That's brilliant. Tackles housing and gives young people practical skills.
Exactly. Or agricultural colleges like Sparsholt, training students specifically for local needs, like vineyard management.
Capitalizing on the growing English wine industry. Very smart.
And that points towards the bigger strategic opportunities, doesn't it?
Yes, there's huge potential if it's nurtured properly.
Think about the advances in agriscience, say at Norwich Research Park. That could genuinely revolutionize farming, make our food healthier, more sustainable.
Real cutting-edge stuff happening.
So what seems to be needed, the consistent call, is for a proper, defined rural strategy.
With long-term funding, not just these short-term piecemeal schemes we often see.
A clear vision to actually unlock all this potential.
Because when you pull all these threads together, you really do get the sense that rural areas are this sort of, well, this sleeping giant.
Ready to be awakened.
Absolutely billions more in economic activity just waiting if the right support and vision are put in place consistently.
So reflecting on all this, the diverse challenges, but also this immense potential.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? For you listening, how can policymakers really craft future strategies that get this right? Strategies that truly understand the unique realities of rural life and actually foster sustainable growth, allowing these communities to thrive.
A really important question to consider. As always, find us on social media at Bench Report UK. Get in touch with any topic important to you. Remember, politics is everyone's business. Take care.
Hello there, this is Tom, the producer of The Bench Report. Listener suggestions are vital to my mission of making politics more accessible and accountable. So, if you have an issue that's really important to you, personally or professionally, and want to know what those in power are doing about it, please get in touch via email or via our socials at Bench Report UK. I'll grab another coffee and start scanning those parliamentary archives.